Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Reski Trandi. I'm from class PBIE, and this video is about final test of discourse analysis. I will answer around 10 questions and I will give my conclusion at the end of the video. So the first question is, describe the position of discourse analysis in theory of linguistics. So discourse analysis is primarily a linguistic study which examines the use of language by native population orally or in writing. The discourse analysis theory also influenced by linguistic theory, which give the discourse analysis theory a rise. The second question is, what are the difference between discourse analysis and error analysis in terms of linguistic background theory and content of analysis? So the first one is in background theory. Discourse analysis draws on various theoretical frameworks such as sociolinguistic, pragmatics, conversational analysis, and critical theory, where error analysis only rooted in the field of applied linguistics and second language acquisition. In content of analysis, discourse analysis focus on in its contextual and interactive use, where error analysis primarily focus on analyzing errors that made by the individual and try to fix that as soon as possible. So the next question, what do you know about the following terms? First is discourse analysis. Discourse analysis is again primarily a linguistic study which examine the use of the language by native people orally or in writing. Next is communicative competence. Communicative competence is a knowledge of a speaker that a speaker has of rule of grammar and how to use them in conversation. Next is language form and function. So language form is the structural and grammatical aspect of language, and the function is refers to the purpose of the way the form is used or the language is used. Exchange is a verbal or written interaction between two persons that give each other information to one and another. Next is move. Move is a unit of communicative action that happens in a conversation. Next is discourse pattern. Discourse pattern is a structure of organizational patterns that shape the flow and organize of pattern of discourse. Next is, what are the scopes discourse analysis in spoken discourse? So there are two scopes in this one. The first one is casual conversation and the second one is the classroom conversation. So the first one, casual conversation or real life conversation, happens between two people or more that close to each other, and it's more flexible and not really structural. The second one is the classroom conversation, where the classroom conversation is more structural, only happens in classroom or in study area, and it happens only between students and teacher or student and the other student. The next question is, analyze the following conversation to find out the discourse sequence, moves, function, and internal structure. So the discourse sequence on this conversation, because there are 6 sentences, three men and 3 women. So the discourse sequence is A B A B and A B A B A B, or man woman and man woman. In the moves, I really want to apologize to you is the first move. What I said the other night was I'm really sorry about what I said the other night is the second move, and the third one is please forgive me. That's the third move. So the function here, the first sentence is initiation. The second one is for respond. The third one is for I'm really sorry about is also initiation but also in the form of response. The fourth one is also just a response. The fifth one is also an initiation and response, and the last one is just purely respond. And the internal structure here, the first sentence have one segment and one unit. The second sentence only have one unit. The third sentence have one one unit and one segment. The fourth one is one unit. The fifth one one unit and two segments, and the last one is one unit and two segments. So go to the next question. Explain the following terms of written discourse: micro and macro analysis. So the first one, micro analysis, focusing on more on vocabulary and grammar, including the cohesive relation and grammatical regularities in text, where macro focus on the organization of the text, such as pattern and the types of the text. Next is cohesion and coherence. Cohesion is the is the way in the text is tied by linguistics devices like grammar or vocabulary, while coherence is a factor that determines whether a text is well connected to each other with the device. And the next is grammatical cohesive device. Grammatical cohesive devices are linguistic elements that help create the cohesion and coherence within a text. There are four of them. The first one is reference, substitution, ellipsis, and conjunction. The next is what lexical cohesive device. Lexical cohesive device is our linguistic elements that contribute to create to the cohesion and the coherence in the text through the use of related words of expression. The next is what are the factors? The next question: describe how to analyze text pattern in discourse analysis. So to analyze pattern in discourse analysis, first we need to identify the text format that we want to analyze. After identifying it, we need to collect data of the format that we want to analyze. The third and then after that, the next step is to analyze the format that we already gather the data of, and then the last one is the to interpret the results of the analysis from the data that we just collect, that we just analyze, and that we just identified. And the next is how to describe how to analyze sentence pattern in discourse analysis. So the way we can identify the sentence pattern in discourse analysis is to identify the theme and the rhyme. The theme is the subject or the already known information of the subject or the sentence, and the rhyme is the predicate of the sentence or new informations from the sentence that we just got. The next question is what factors to consider in selecting targeted discourse to be analyzed to get required or relevant information on language used in context. So there are four factors in this one. The first one is collecting phase, where we gather and select the materials that we want to be analyzed. The second one is identification phase, where we identify or recognize the discourse contents, such as the forms, the function, and the structure. The next is explanation phase, where we create the results of the discourse analysis by explaining the cultural description of the relevant components. And the last is the classification, where we put all the results of the discourse analysis into some information that fit into the certain category. And the last question is, do you agree saying that discourse analysis also has a significant contribution to English language pedagogy? Well, yes, I do agree, because the reason is that discourse analysis learn more about function than just form in language, which is usually what people learn in English education. We only learn about the form of the language and not the function, which makes the knowledge incomplete. And by studying discourse analysis, we complete that by learning the function and not just the form of the language. This is also like very obvious in both casual conversation or non-casual conversation, which is the classroom conversation, where in again casual conversation it's more flexible and not very structural, while in classroom conversation it's more structural and very stiff. And thanks to this, discourse analysis kind of give us an insight that language is not just about form, but it's more about form and function of how sentence, words, or conversation happening between people, and how to make it more natural when we are not the native speaker by learning discourse analysis or the function itself. And I think that's all for me. For the conclusion, discourse analysis is a very unique and very interesting subject to learn, and it's also very important because it's mostly teaches about the function of language rather than just the form of the language, which complete the whole knowledge of language itself by making it more fluent, more natural, rather than just following some structural conversation or structural conversation. And I think that's all. I want to thank myself for making this video. Thanks to Mr. Kahar for giving me the very useful material of the discourse analysis, and my parents for giving me the materials to make this video happen. And I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I think my recommendation for the teachers and learners of English is to learn more about discourse analysis, because it gives so much more insight rather than just learning the language in form. Learn the language also in function. And I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching, and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.